right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time.
Welcome to another daily motivation stream. As we try to get some progress in on our writing, we're going to be doing not one, not two, but 3 writing sprints as I am working on my goal to knock out 70,000 words revised this month. I'm making some progress. We're seeing if I'm getting close. What are your writing goals right now? Are you getting close to achieving them or not really? Drop them in the comments. I would love to hear. Welcome to the Right Now community. I'm Kaufman. I'm on a mission to solve the problems of the writing world by putting a dragon on it. So come join us because we're starting right now. So make sure that you stick around for the breaks. If you want to be able to chat, like kind of catch up with some of the other writers, I'll post some questions to the group. We'll chat more on our breaks. And yeah, I hope all you are doing well. You can see that I already have my writing software set up. I'm already ready for our first sprint. I know I want to hopefully get some good words in today. Hey, what's up, my friend? Big hi. I'm excited for my 7 time tonight. Excited to have you on my channel. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm like, of all the things that I definitely need more writing sprints. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, my friend. It's going to be fun. We'll be sliding over to your channel after this stream. What's up, Calvin in the house? Welcome, my friend. Hope all is well. ML, good to see you. Morgana, it's great to see you back in the stream. Like, I'm getting close to my goal. I'm almost at 3.5 thousand. Yes. Morgana, cheers. Cheers to that. That's awesome. Like, I'm at 1,517 words right now, so I think I can do this. We're like, fingers crossed. Hey, what's up, Bethany, Ghost Cat, and Mary? Good to see you all here in the stream. So, as we all know, right, we kind of have to like get into the writing vibe first. I feel like the first sprint is kind of like wrapping my mind into my world. So you guys know what I like to do. When I first start into something, I kind of review the last section that I just written. I like the scene I just written, but I don't know if pacing wise, if I like how it came out, but I like the scene overall. So I'm going to do that. I need to do a little bit of revision on my end and I'll get into it, but I'm all ready. So come join me. Let's get this first writing sprint in. Let's get into it. And yeah, I'm ready. So with 25 minutes on the clock, whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of the process. Come join us because it's time to write now. All right, writing sprint done. Writing sprint done. Okay, so I need your guys' help actually. Okay, I need your guys' help with this section. I'm working on the section, and like whether or not you were paying attention or not was fine. But I need to read this one section, this one like scene aloud, and I need to make sure that it makes sense. Or I know it makes sense, but I want to make sure that it matches tonally what I'm going for with this part of the story. I want it to have a very specific tone. And I kind of needed to hear it aloud. If I was by myself, I'd usually just read it to myself. But since I'm here on the stream, I'd love your guys' feedback in kind of how this scene comes across. Let's see. So it's not super long. Because where I shuffled. Okay, so I just need you guys' feedback on how this sounds. So with our heroes, where they're at right now, Scarecrow, Crow, and Pixie and Pebble the Pixie are traveling through this. They're kind of like escaped into this wooded section. It's like the burned down section of the forest. And they're kind of going, the main forest is on either side. The Pixie Pebble has said that she's going to lead them to the, let's see, where is she going to lead them? Right, so Pebble the Pixie has said that she's going to lead them to the brazier, which is basically the magic thing that's going to help activate the gemstone they have and help them figure out where the graveyard of the last is. So that's what they're looking for right now, this magic brazier, which the Pixie says that she knows of one nearby. And that's what we know right now, right? So it's kind of like an in-between scene. They just had like a bonding moment in the last chapter. Now they're kind of just wandering into this new area. So I just want your feedback and let me know, like, how does this section sound? All right. Whatever. Look up ahead, Pebble pointed. Scarecrow looked up, but all he saw was the path of dead trees scrunched between the forest, as far as his eye could see. Mountains looming high overhead in the distance. He squinted at the dead trees, feeling like he was missing something, until Mr. Crow veered up at a slight angle. Following Pebble's pointed finger, there was a large wooden box up in a tree that looked to be the size of a small room. Its oaken architecture contrasted sharply against the charred environment. How it remained aloft atop the scorched branches made it feel almost unnatural. As they approached it, they spotted a carved-out window. Objects lined the interior. White shadows were cast against the walls from some type of light source within. How they were supposed to get up there was another guess. Scarecrow grabbed the base of the tree, looking up. The brazier is up there? Sure, Pebble spat. Hurry up and climb. Mr. Crow flew in the window as Scarecrow circled the tree until he found an indent that worked as a foothold. Grabbing onto the lowest branch, he pulled himself up. He reached for another branch, glad that his height made the climb easier. Grunting, this is a stretch, even for me to climb. How did one of your stature even get up there before? You calling me short? Pebble roared with indignation. What I mean, Scarecrow stuttered. Pebble snickered. Oh, gullible Scarecrow. She got to a knee as he swung up to another branch. Honestly, I don't remember. She felt her body as if searching for something, reached in her pocket and visibly relaxed. Been a while. She shrugged. I help you find the brazier. You give me the gemstone. Deal's a deal. You best remember. As she poked his shoulder. She poked his neck forcefully. Scarecrow nodded as he stretched his arm up, fingers gripping a wooden floor. With a final heave, he pulled them inside and plopped down on a wooden floorboard. They were greeted by the coziest room one could imagine. It felt quaint, yet welcoming. A tiny flame with a warm glow and embers beckoning sizzled and hissed in the center of the room, casting wide shadows that felt inviting rather than off-putting. The orange-blue flames were almost mesmerizing. How it didn't burn the wooden room down without a barrier was strange, to say the least. Yet the flame felt somehow natural, homely even, giving a comforting presence. Pebble hopped off his shoulder as she peered around the room. Mr. Crow lay perched atop a pile of cushions. Scarecrow inspected the place. Lining the room was a carpet draped against the wall with strange design of far-off places, a bookshelf gatekeeping sporadic books, and a desk with a chair. The soft-looking cushions piled beneath Mr. Crow in the corner of the room suggested a restful sleep. Even the sharp tools of various lengths hanging near the window looked deadly but felt harmless. Scarecrow smiled, stretched out his arms, and yawned as he crawled around the flame, glancing down at the pixie. A confused look spread across her enchanting features. Something wrong? Scarecrow asked as he leaned against the bookshelf. Even though the hardwood against his back wasn't the most comfortable, the smell of books made him feel happier for some reason. Pebble tapped a finger to her chin. I don't remember this room being so... She turned around. Full. The pixie scanned the room as she stuck her hands near the flame, shoulders drooping, visibly relaxed. Is that the magic brazier? Scarecrow asked. Admittedly, he didn't know what a brazier was supposed to look like. Glancing back at him, Pebble whispered, I don't know. She shook her head. I mean, obviously not. It's close. I can smell it. She laughed nervously. Pixies are particularly good finders. A playful smirk returned to her lips as she took in the warmth of the flame. Looks like you're already settled in, Mr. Crow. Scarecrow laughed as the crow rolled around in circles amongst the cushions. A soft melody hung on the crow's words. The moon. This continued to concern Scarecrow, but what was he supposed to do? At least they could have a small respite in this cozy little room, in this cozy place. He stuck his hands out near the fire, puzzling over its inherent strangeness, but enjoying the warmth it cast. The outside world felt like it could just melt away. The outside world, the crazed nature, the crazed environment of the outside world felt like it could just melt away. Is this the brazier? Scarecrow asked, leaning towards the flame. With an eye roll, Pebble snorted. Listen, do you hear that? Her head was cocked, ear nearer the flame than felt safe. Scarecrow leaned in closer, trying to listen without getting too close. The younglings, Crow murmured. A soft voice drifted through the flames. Scarecrow's eyes widened. What is? Shush, listen. He leaned in closer. Save, Mr. Crow murmured. Closer still. Listen, Pebble whispered. Mr. Crow murmured. Hey, Mr. Crow, maybe... Mr. Crow? The crow flapped his wings wildly about as the cushions piled on top of him, taking on a life of their own. Pebble glanced back at him, a dazed look plastered across her face. The shadows cast by the tiny flame becoming magnified and more ominous by the second. A wet blob splashed down against Scarecrow's shoulder. Touching it felt sticky. Smelling it reminded him of saliva? He looked up. The bookcase leaned over him. The space between the books formed eyes of primal malevolence, while the empty shelf opened wide, revealing a set of razor-sharp teeth. Run! Scarecrow cried as he dove sideways, the bookshelf's mouth slamming into the floor. Mr. Crow's muffled squawks were barely audible. Scarecrow crawled towards the cushions, but a fabric wrapped around his leg, knocking his face to the floor. Knocking him to the floor, face first. The rug oozed to the floor. Patterns formed eyes and a voracious mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. Puddles of drool passing in its wake. He swiped for Pebble just as her finger graced the flame, and she vanished, as if being pulled into the flame itself. Scarecrow smacked the floor once more. Rolling onto his back, he spotted Mr. Crow's remaining wings sink into the cushions. He tried to back away, but like a nightmare, every object had sprang to life, crawling towards him. Eyes, teeth, drool. Scarecrow backed in the corner, surrounded. He gulped, trying to rack his brain for something. Anything. Mouth salivating. Eyes glaring. Footsteps nearing. Anything. Why did Pebble lead them here? The ruby gemstone. Thrusting a hand into his pocket, he yanked it out, holding it protectively before him. The gemstone glimmered in the dim light as the flame seemed to grow wider, envious, furious. It wasn't do anything. Don't hurt us, or I'll cast nothingness upon you, Scarecrow blurted out. The objects paused, turning towards one another. Scarecrow felt a tap on his shoulder. He looked over. The edge of a book slammed across his face as all went dark. Ooh, okay, end reading. What did you guys think? Yeah, I was like, what thoughts? How did that come across to y'all? Hearing it aloud, I'm thinking to myself, did I like that section, and then how did the section evolve? Let me see. I feel like when I think back, like I like that it was this build up. I wanted this room to feel like it was like a haven. I wanted the room to feel warm and inviting. I wanted it to feel like it was welcoming. And I wanted the reader to be focused on the flame and think something's wrong with the flame. The flame's essentially a distraction in a sense. Or the flame is supposed to throw off the reader, when in reality they go into this homely environment, and it's really like the room itself comes to life and attacks them. I think I like how I like how it is. Let's see. Let me see what you guys all said. Penumbra, you're like, love the description, but instead of saying dead trees twice so close together, am I just using barren branches or something similar? Oh yeah, I mean, that's actually probably a good call. I completely missed that in the read, but you're absolutely right. Let's see. I probably said that right when they were heading in. You're calling me short. Pebbles. Oh yeah, okay, I saw that. Like, I missed the dead trees bit at first. Scarecrow looked up, but all he saw was the path of dead trees scrunched between the forest, as far as I could see. Mountains living high up. He squinted. I agree with you. He squinted, but all he saw was the path of dead trees scrunched between the forests. He squinted at the barren branches, feeling like he squinted at the he squinted at the he squinted. Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna say he squinted, feeling like he was missing something. Perfect. That's a good call out. Dragged. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to pull the drag bit. Brain, you're like, so impressionistic, very lyrical. Sounds good. I do think drag sounds more active than pulled, though. When they're getting pulled into the fire. Something wrong. Scarecrow, fold the pixie. Let's go to, he's getting pulled. Run. The bookshelf smells slamming in. Scarecrow crawled towards the cushions, but a fabric wrapped around his leg, knocking him to the floor face first. He swiped for just as her fingers caught, and she vanished. Scarecrow smacked the floor once more. Yes, I'll have to find that. Very lyrical. Sounds good. Awesome. I'm glad it kind of had this like lyrical sense. I'm actually really glad that it came across like that. More it was good. It flowed naturally. Okay, so we're agreed that the pacing feels good. So kind of based on what I'm hearing from you guys, the pacing of it sounds worked. Eli, I don't love the banter between Scarecrow and Pebble. I think getting into the room a little quicker might be better. Okay. You think that banter is kind of like feels like a little forced? Yeah, I've rewritten that section there a couple times now. And I haven't been able to get like what I wanted with the right vibe. Maybe they just need to get up into the room. I think I was trying to reinforce that what they're going for, but the reader probably already knows it by this point. That's actually something good to think about. Let's see. Penumbra, like now I want to say corpses of trees because something hungry lives within the room. I want to say corpse. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that's a good recommend. That's a great recommendation. Corpses of trees. At that initial scarecrow, that's a really great recommendation. As they approach, where is the tree bit? But Scarecrow looked up, but all he saw was the path of dead trees scrunched between the forest as far as the eye could see. He squinted at the corpses of trees. He squinted at the corpses of trees, feeling like he was missing something. That's a really great recommendation. Thank you. Kara, excellent. And the end is at a good point to maintain this reader's interest in finding out what happens in the next chapter. Yeah, I feel it because I wanted this chapter to have a cliffhanger. I haven't. It's been about 3 chapters since I did a cliffhanger, so I knew I wanted this one because it's really going to lead into the next chapter, which the next chapter's title is the Village of Inanimate Cannibals. I think so. I might change inanimate, but the Village of Cannibals. I said because something hungry lives within the room. Hey, what's up, Oscar? Let's see. In general, I'm not a big fan of banter. It's not like yours is particularly bad or anything. That might be a preference thing. Yeah, that's something good too. Good to think about. Thanks for that insight. Let's see. Mary could use a bit of editing. I'd like to know the reason this happens in the first place. Has Pebble been that unreliable? Great question. So with the editing portion of it, because we're still only in a second draft, editing is still much, much later down the line. So I'm not too concerned about the editing style of it. Second draft is the core story is there. And I'm trying to make sure that the pacing is right. And then I can fix style. I can fix style in a later draft. I'd like to know the reason this happens in the first place. Has Pebble been that unreliable? So Pebble's a new character, and she has been. I mean, so this is the let's see, how many chapters has Pebble been in now by this point? I would say Pebble has been in when push comes to Pebble. So this is the 4th chapter with Pebble in it. So she's still kind of newer-ish to the party, but this is now the second encounter they're about to experience. And I do want her to be unreliable. I want Pebble and Crow to feel an unreliable nature to them. So that's actually good to know. That's good to know that does work. Yeah, I completely agree. That's like excellent suggestion. Thanks so much, Penumbra. You're awesome. Yeah, I think I used chard in another section. I like the idea of a sight foreshadowing of the trees being more than dead, like winter trees are, but actual dead trees. Yeah, I agree. I like that as well. I think that's super cool. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it. I really cared about the pacing and the tone of it because like I want the book to have these horror moments throughout, but the book's not a horror. It's not a horror book, but there is that element of there's just that spooky undertone of this world, but really like, yeah, it's a dangerous world. And I want there to be that balance, which is why I think the balance between Last Scarecrow is like Wizard of Oz meets Neverending Story. Maybe even elements of like the Labyrinth type vibes in there sometimes throughout the book, I think could be good. So I wouldn't really say Neverending Story is scary or creepy per se. Brainiac Banter is fine, but the key is to make it as unrelated as possible to the narrative while still making it do character. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't think the banter is horrible. And I see where Eli's coming from. Like, I don't think the banter is horrible, but I feel like I'm trying to see if I can get it to be a vibe. And I'm trying to think about like, okay, well, what's that banter trying to accomplish? And I might have already accomplished it with the characters previously in the chapter. So it actually might be unnecessary. But then I was also kind of trying to foreshadow the deal they made, but that actually might not be important. So I'm going back and forth. Mary Last Strike. Pacing is good. Just keep motivation in mind. That's a good suggestion, my friend. Right. And I want, and I should probably add like a metaphorical line in there with the bookshelf. Because the scarecrow eating bookshelf is terrifying, especially because he's a scarecrow. I know there's something inverted, and I really wanted the first object to really attack Scarecrow to be the bookshelf. I like there's something visual about that I knew was super cool. Oh, that's a good call out. So it's a variety of word choice. I like that. You also remember twice in 3 sentences. Maybe change the second one to mumble to hummed because Crow doesn't say anything. Yeah, I agree with that actually, especially by the third time because he doesn't say anything the third time. I like that. Mm. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, guys. I really appreciate that. I know I kind of ate through all the break time. But I know I saw let's see, I saw who hopped in. Oscar. I saw you hopping in the middle there, my friend. I know you asked a great question. Like, what do you think about taking a writing break / holiday? This is actually a great question. I think a lot of writers can easily get burnt out, and I am all for writers taking a break from writing. What I do not want to happen is for a writer to get burnt out and for them to take a break and then stop writing for a few years. That's what I do not want to happen. If you're going to take a break, be intentional with it. If you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe life's going to be busy the next month, or maybe, I just need to like recharge my creative energy, then I would then be intentional with when you're going to return to writing. Like, hey, I need to take a break. I'm going to come back to my writing in 2 weeks. But then you got to make sure that you can hold yourself accountable, either through a community like this one, making your intentions known, or with yourself or your friends or your family. So that's a great question. And I think writers need to recharge, especially if you've been doing a lot of writing or you're busy with life. I am all for balancing and maintaining your mental health all the way, my friend. Let's see. Do you think I would write faster after a break or it would just derail me completely? It kind of depends. It depends on why you need to take the break personally and how well you understand your own writing motivation. If you are the type of person where it's difficult for you to get into the writing process and in the past you have taken a break and then not returned to it, I think you would have to ask yourself, are you taking a break because you're feeling burnt out on writing, or are you taking a break because maybe you're just not that passionate about writing right now? And I think you have to understand that if you're passionate about writing and you're feeling burnt out, take a break. If you're not feeling super passionate about writing, then maybe step back, assess, and think about it. And like if you are, maybe the solution is like you just need to get yourself into a consistent writing routine. I mean, my motto of last year is if you don't feel like writing, write anyways. But I don't want people to burn themselves out. So Kara, you're like, I felt the banter let me learn something about Pixie's personality. Admittedly, I'm not familiar with the previous parts of the story. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of the banter, the Scarecrow, Pixie, and Crow have had some banter earlier in the chapter. So it's not like this was the first banter. And then the end of last chapter was a little banter as well. So this chapter hasn't been without banter. So that's why like this section, the banter could stay or leave. I'm not too worried about that. Um all right, Penumbra. My brain has gotten good at hearing repeated words. It's pretty like my brain has gone good at hearing repeated words when listening because I will write the same word out. Yeah, and that totally happens. I see it so much when I'm reading other writers writing. But for me, like I'm not too worried about the grammar portion of it or like word repetition unless it's like obvious because I know I'll fix that later on down the line. But I appreciate you guys helping me with it. It's awesome. It makes the later drafting process much more easier. Like you like how unreliable Pebbles is. Yep. I completely agree. And I like that as well. So both Crow and Pebble are unreliable for completely different reasons. Crow is unreliable because he's always spouting crazy nonsense. And you don't really know. Like Crow spouts really weird stuff. And you're like, what is wrong with this bird? And then Pebble is unreliable because her actions always generally tend to make things have generally tended to make things worse for them. She's a very like headstrong and she acts like she knows what she's doing, but that's part of the fun of it. That's part of the fun of her character right now. So awesome. I love that. Yeah, there's a great Oscar Wilde quote. Your muse should find you hard at work, which is really about putting yourself in a position to maximize your inspiration, making good habits as a writer. I love that. And I think that actually calls for writing sprint number 2. So let's hop into the next writing sprint. And let's see, quick call out for those of you who aren't subscribed to the Art of Writing newsletter. If you want weekly or monthly writing tips, writing techniques, articles, stories, this is the newsletter for you. So I highly recommend. This is my personal newsletter for the Right Now community. I'll drop the link down in the chat. It's also linked down in the YouTube description down below. But this is great if you just want to learn additional stuff outside of the live streams. And then you will also get the weekly live stream schedules delivered right to your mailbox. So it's also better if you don't want to like check on socials and know when we'll be streaming day by day and know what to expect. I usually try to get those sent out Sunday night. So go subscribe to the Art of Writing newsletter. All right, my friends. So I wanted to get that in, and let's do writing sprint number 2. So let's see, where are we at on time? Let's go. Okay. All right, so I have about an hour. So let's go another 25 minutes and we'll see what we can get, what progress we can get for writing sprint number 2 of 3. All right, let's do it. And thank you, friends, so much for your help with that. Hearing your feedback really helps. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Like, I love it. I have so much fun with the story, as we all know. The thing that I care about with this draft is that everything makes sense and that the pacing feels natural. Those are the things that I want to solve in this draft. Okay, so I am all ready. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, it's all part of the process because it's time to write now. Let's do it. You're also very dark green pen. All right. Writing sprint done. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Woof. All right. So I feel pretty good about it. Nice. I feel like I was able to make some solid progress on that second writing sprint. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. I'm pretty happy. So I'm glad that I was able to kind of finish off that last chapter. I love when I can get the pacing and tonality right for just these moments. I was like, I care so much that when the reader gets to these sections, that it's very visually memorable, that there's almost a lyrical, poetic undertone, and then it really captures the imagination. So I think that was awesome. And then that was interesting. And then this next bit is going to be even more interesting. This next bit is going to be more intriguing for a completely different reason, because we're going to be introduced to the fox, which I'm kind of going back and forth on what I want to call this character, but the fox is kind of like a Dr. Frankenstein type character. Yeah, they're like a Dr. Frankenstein, but more knowledgeable. So I'm very, very happy about it. Very, very happy about it. How is the writing sprints treating you guys, though? Have you guys been able to make some progress? I would love to hear. Hopefully I feel like we've been on some really great writing vibes today. I was like, I know I'm making progress. I'm hoping it's working out well for everybody. I usually don't spend so much time reading Scarecrow on a stream, but I was pretty happy with it. And by the way, Unknown, I know you asked a great question, and I saw you guys talk in the chat. You said you were stuck at a spot right now. By the way, welcome. We always love seeing new members in the community. Like, I'm trying to describe a dusty old room, but I just don't know how. And I know I saw some great recommendations from the others. I think ultimately you want to think about, why is the dusty old room important, and really, like, what do you want to draw the reader's attention to? This is ultimately what matters, right? You could draw the reader's attention to the dust. You could draw the reader's attention to items in the room. You could draw the reader's attention to the way the character thinks about the room using interiority. What is the importance or significance of this room, and why does it matter to the main character, to your protagonist or your character that's exploring it? When you understand, or when you figure out, like, okay, it's important because of this, then it helps you solve the problem of, like, okay, I want this character, the dusty old room has significance because the character hasn't been in there in a while, and one of their precious heirlooms is kept in a chest. So then I would play into, if that were the case, I would play into how the age of the room and the character's trepidation at going into the room to build up tension for the chest that they're going to encounter. So then I'd play into the dust. I'd play into the forgotten objects in the room. I'd play into the character. Maybe they did know about the room. Maybe they didn't. And then use a mix of interiority and description to lead the character into this setting. So, and then once again, there's no right or wrong way to address this. I think there's definitely some really cool options. I know Eli and Mara, so you guys recommended some great ideas as well. Hey, what's up, Holistic? I saw you hop in. Welcome. Like, yay, Pebbles. I'm always curious, because I write so much of Scarecrow on the stream. I'm always curious when the community, which characters they attach to the most. And it always seems to go back and forth between Pebbles. Pebble, I'm gonna start saying Pebbles now. Correct me, but it always goes back and forth between Pebble and Mr. Crow. It's always a toss up, and I think it kind of goes back and forth. So, but I'm really happy about that. Like, I hope that by the time we get to the end of the book, then readers will be like, all right, team Pebble or team Crow. Our two favorite sidekicks. Oh, that's nice. Like, attempted a blurb, came out like a summary, paper crinkle. Well, Mary, actually, blurb writing, I'm actually going to be on Rachel's stream tomorrow, and we're going to be doing a blurb. She's going to be tearing into the Last Scarecrow blurb. So, like, you should have to make sure you check it out tomorrow. I'll probably have to post the link in the Discord later. But yeah, that'll be really cool. I feel like I've done like 10 iterations of the Scarecrow blurb. Calvin, you're like, I'm hoping to finish my 6th chapter today and end section 1. Nice. You're like, hopefully making some progress. We'll see how it goes. Penumbra, like tweaking the description of the devouring entity. Ooh, that's creepy. The long, segmented centipede-like body moved on tentacles instead of legs. 6 necks supported cephalopod-shaped heads with tentacles below giant beaked mouths and a mane of writhing claw-tipped appendages. He realized the claws were actually more beaks, and they tipped every tentacle on its bloated, tubal body. Ooh, that's really creepy. What a nice picture, actually. What a really like nice, creepy image. Oof. That is creepy. That creature's creepy. I was like, I feel bad for whichever hero is about to deal with that creature. Hey, what's up, Megan? Pretty good. We've gotten in some really good vibes today. I was just did a little workshopping with Scarecrow, and it sounds like we've been making some good progress. Thanks for stopping by. Awesome. And that's good to know. That's good to know, Bobby, that you're able to get that fixed. That's really good to know. Let's see, Mary, like unknown, everything might look gray. Well, I think we've been making some decent progress. So with that, I feel like probably getting back into, we're gonna hop into our third writing sprint in just a moment. Let's see. And third writing sprint. If you are enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. I'm here every day with the Right Now community. 400 consecutive writing streams and counting. If you're looking for daily writing motivation, our critique show, podcast, our holiday writing events like the upcoming book club or the Faded Fantasy Fiction Contest in the spring, or just a community of writers of all genres and skill levels, then you've come to the right place. So make sure to tap that follow or subscribe button, and you'll be alerted when we go live. All right, my friends. So I am super stoked. We're going to hop into our third writing sprint. I'm like barely pushing up on time here. So let's see, 35. Perfect. 25 minutes. So we're going to do a third writing sprint, 25 minutes. And then for those of you who want to keep up the writing, I'm going to go join Bobby over on his channel for some more writing sprints after. So Gaigon Bible. So that'll be super cool. And yeah, so let's do it. Writing sprint number 3. I am all ready. So we got 25 minutes on the clock. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that is all part of the process. Come join us because it's time to write now. All right. Writing sprint done. Writing sprint done. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I am so happy I was able to get that last section. This chapter, I kind of had to spend some time thinking because I've already figured out how the beginning of this chapter starts. And I already have some of it written. I was reviewing the original draft. I was reviewing the first draft of this chapter originally, and I was trying to think through which elements do I want to keep, which need to be revised. And I'm kind of going back and forth on determining what feels right. Um, I actually originally I thought when I was coming to this chapter, I thought I was gonna have to get rid of more of this chapter than I thought, but I think I'm actually I'm almost adding like an introductory section to the chapter because I've introduced the leader of this tribe, in which the original one there wasn't a really well named leader in a sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of reviewing. Okay. This actually makes me feel a little bit better. I don't feel like I'm gonna actually have to get rid of as much of the chapter as I thought I would, which is kind of cool. So I'll make those decisions. I was able to get some great writing progress in today. How were you? Were you able to get in some good writing? We got 3 sprints, 25 minutes apiece. We got some good writing vibes, some good planning, some good brainstorming, and I felt great about how we tied off that last chapter. Thank you again for all your help. It was awesome. So I am very, very happy about the direction of Scarecrow right now. This is another standalone chapter, but really the story arc started with them entering that creepy cabin, and now we kind of get to explore what this next section is going to look like with this Dr. Frankenstein like leader, and then the village of cannibals and what that entails. So I'm feeling pretty good about that as I am looking ahead towards creative writing on the morrow. I'll be back tomorrow with another weekly daily writing stream. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so we'll be back for our Right Now Writers Group. Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern. Come join us as we join other writers in the stream. Other writers will hop on, we'll chat about writing, we'll do some writing sprints, and we'll try to get some work in. So make sure to come back and join us tomorrow on the Right Now channel. It will be fire, and hopefully we'll be making some progress. Last week, we made great progress. If you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button on your way out. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. And if the writing fun isn't done yet, I'm going to go join Guy Writer over on his channel, and we're going to get some more writing chat and some more writing sprints in. I need to get as much writing in this month, so more writing is always a win if you want to keep up the writing continuity for the day. And that is what I got for you, my friends. So thank you all for joining, but unfortunately that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. What does creative writing mean to you? I'm Kaufman, and I'm on a mission to connect with every creative writer in the world. And I need your help. The world is constantly changing, which is why it's our duty. No, it's our responsibility to inspire creativity. My creative writing tips, tricks, and strategies are going to help you become a better writer, so that way you can beat procrastination. Do you have a story that you're dying to tell, but you don't know what to do next? I can actually help you craft a story today.